Hello everyone, it is Toby here, back for another training session here in the garage gym, and we are doing deadlifts, the first deadlift session after unfortunately failing 300 kilos, but that was a side quest anyway. Now this deadlift session is to work towards our competitions, so it's all about building strength in the legs, hamstrings, posterior chain and back, and it is going to be a brutal session, which I know you guys love seeing. It is -1 degrees in the garage gym at the minute. I've got a very small heater running, but it is doing absolutely nothing. So I'm not going to hang about. I need to get warm, and in both senses of the word really, warmed up and also physically warm up a bit in front of the heater because it is cold. But I'm going to go through a full session plan on today's session. It's not going to be anything groundbreaking, just some solid hard work to get us strong. Obviously, as I said, it's the week after failing 300 kilos, so still recovering a bit from that, but we are going to push it quite hard with lots of fun and brutal accessories. So without further ado, let's get into the session plan. So starting things off, as we always do with deadlifts, we are moving back from the deadlift bar onto the stiff bar now, because in Strongman, working on a stiff bar is going to carry over way better to any other type of deadlift that we do. It is not that uncommon that we're on a deadlift bar in a Strongman comp, but considering I've got axle coming up and car deadlift bar is not going to be the way to do it. So we're going to do all of our work on a stiff bar from now going forward. We're going to work up to a decently heavy triple of 245 kilos. For me, that should be really easy, but obviously first session back after failing such a heavy weight, going to be a bit fatigued, and also first session back on a stiff bar. So aim of the game is just to make it move easy, move nicely, and be a very solid starting point to build off in the coming weeks. And then we're going to drop the weight down a bit and do deficit paused deadlifts. So I guess Loz wasn't that happy with me failing 300, so he's put in the mother of all deadlift accessories in deficit paused deadlifts. Obviously these are going to have a fantastic carryover, but they're going to be nasty. So if you don't know what those are, stand on a plate or two to give yourself a bit of a deficit on the deadlift, and then pause a couple inches off the ground and explode up. That is going to be a couple of sets of 3 as the back off set. And then we are going to move into the RDLs. Remaining deadlifts, I've been doing these beltless for the last few blocks. We're moving back to belted RDLs now at a higher rep range of around 6 to 10 reps. So these should be nice and brutal and a proper finisher of the hamstrings, glutes after those deficit pause deadlifts have killed us off. And then it is the classic ending to any deadlift back day with lat pull downs and seated rows. So a very solid session, looking slightly different to what we usually do, but not that different. All we need to do now is get the work done. So I'm going to start warming up on deadlifts, and you're going to see when we get a bit heavier. So the keen-eyed among you will have spotted that I've got a new belt on. I've got the Cerberus X Pioneer one that has the adjustable clip on it, so you can do slightly lighter, slightly tighter depending on your exercise. And this is going to be really good for the deadlift, I think, because I like a slightly looser belt on a deadlift and a slightly tighter one on overhead, and an even tighter one on squats. So being able to mess around with it is going to be good, but it still needs breaking in. I've only used it for 1 session so far, so we're going to see how much support it provides in this session, and hopefully it feels better than my old one. So let's get warm. Yeah, feeling good. I mean, even on 70, you can tell the difference between the stiff bar and the deadlift bar. But hopefully it shouldn't affect me too much on the top end. But this belt's feeling fantastic, being able to be a bit looser than my other one without having to get the screwdriver out. So far a fan. We'll see as we get heavier. Okay, we're at 170 now. This is when stuff starts to feel good, and dropping my strap on the floor is not a good start, but yeah, back on the stiff bar is interesting, certainly. Does feel a bit different, but I'm sure it won't as we get through the warm-ups. Once we're used to it, we'll be fine. But this belt, I'm really liking it so far. So So far so good, but yeah, let's get it done. Easy peasy. Right, so in classic Toby Lively fashion, I have now finished all of the warm-ups and completely forgot to record my final warm-up of 220 kilo, but let me reassure you that it moved super easy, felt super easy. So we're about to go into the top set now. As I said, a triple at 245. This should move fairly comfortably, fairly easy. Probably not as quick as it could because, as I said, failing 300 last week, back on the stiff bar for the first time, all of these factors, but certainly it's going to feel quite nice. So hopefully it all feels good, all feels healthy, happy, and we can tick it off as a fantastic top set, and then we can move on to the disgusting back off sets that are deficit and pause. So without further ado, let's do it. All right, so top set moved exactly as I wanted it to. Super easy, super comfortable, nice, easy triple. Feeling fantastic, feeling good. Stiff bar didn't bother me too much at all. But now, as you can see next to me, I have got this devious little setup. So yeah, we got the big thick plates as our deficit. I believe about 180 on the bar is what the program says, for 2 sets of 1 to 3 reps. So should be pretty brutal, should be pretty nuts. And as I said, these are deficit paused. So it's not just the fact it's from a deficit, it's that we're pausing just off the floor as well. These should absolutely light us up and be really, really brutal. But talking about it's not going to get them done. So I'm going to get them done, film both sets for you guys, and you're going to see just how nasty these can be. Right, so they weren't actually too bad. An exercise like that is exactly the exercise you want with a belt that can go tighter and looser, because the hardest bit about that is just getting down to the bar in the first place when you've got all this pressure around your midsection. But no, it felt really good. It felt very solid, didn't feel too bad. But I can tell as we up the weights week in, week out, these are going to be pretty nasty, and my glutes and hamstrings are already really quite fried, but they're not going to be as fried as they will be after this next exercise. We've got RDLs, high rep RDLs, 150 kilo, not too heavy, but yeah, should be pretty good. Let's get them done. Oh, way more fatigued on them than I was expecting to be. Wow, my hamstrings and glutes are tough. And we've got one more set. Oh, I'm not playing that up. I am so gone in the hamstrings and glutes right now. Oh. Well, I think a little sit down is warranted after that one. I didn't realise just how fried my glutes and hamstrings would be going into those. 150 for 10s is not a weight that I should struggle like that with, but we've done some heavy work on the hamstrings and glutes. Leg day on Monday was ridiculously heavy, obviously doing front squats, and then a trap bar deadlift for heavy reps is probably what's fatigued them so much. And obviously the deficit pause deadlifts didn't help, so we're pushing ourselves hard today. Much harder than perhaps I expected, but main thing is deadlifts felt smooth. I got all my sets and reps done. It was 6 to 10, so I should have known, seeing that on the programme meant it was going to be tough to get 10s. But hey, Laws knows what he's doing. I thought the weights might have been a bit light, but clearly not. So I am proper working hard today, but yeah, that's what we need to do well in competitions. So the work does not stop there. We have now got, obviously, lat pull downs, seated rows. Again, on the lat pull downs, I'm going to be using, I don't know if you can see it, but the mag grip, neutral grip, much comfier. On the hands, I can really feel my lats a lot better with that, so like pushing hard with that. And then with the seated rows, I'm going to use the neutral grip one, because again, feel my back much more with that than I do any other grip. So it's all about feel on these accessories, not about the weight. Just need to get some blood through the muscles that somehow we haven't quite taxed yet. So yeah, it's been a pretty brutal one today. Yeah, just a knuckle down, hard work, get it done type session, which are really the important ones. The fun heavy weights or the fun exciting event training, stuff like that, it's all good and fun, but this is where the strength's built, and this is what you need to do to build the strength. So I'm going to have another couple minutes rest, then I will film a set of lat pull downs, a set of seated cable rows, and show you them up next. So that is that, guys. Thank you so much for watching this session. As I said before I did those lat pull downs and seated rows, this is a session about working hard. No flashy weights, no flashy exercises, just get in, get the work done. It is the important type of session, so glad to get it on film and share it with you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what exercise taxes you more than anything else. And for me, apparently, it's RDLs after doing a hell of a lot of hamstring glute work, which could be expected. But anyway, yeah, that is today's session. Wow, it's been a good one. And I can tell you now, in the next video, we are going to be doing some really fun events training. So if the hard work, knuckle down type sessions aren't for you, and you want to see some fun strongman events training, make sure you go down below, click subscribe, stay tuned for next video, where we're going to be doing some events training for the upcoming competitions. Obviously, if you want to know what those competitions are and what events I've got coming up, I released a video not long ago going through all of that. And yeah, if you're new here, again, please be sure to go down below, click subscribe. But if you're always here, make sure you go down below, click like, help boost the video. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Toby, and I will see you in the next training session.